All right, we're here for another episode of Clean Tech Talk on YouTube and daily, regular news show we're doing this week, or today, I should say, because we'll have more later this week. Today, it's all about the EV sales. It's the beginning of the year, end of the, and all the 2024 data has been coming in, and these are the big stories. But I'm going to start with our global EV sales report, or two reports. One is on models, one is on brands and automakers, which only go through November at this stage because it takes a lot of time to get all the full data in around the world. So we'll start with that, and then we'll jump into the 2024 numbers for a few companies, which are some big stories. First of all, we've got the automakers report for globally, and it's been a similar story throughout the year. So we're not going to spend too much time on this, but in the month of November, BYD, this is looking at plug-in vehicles, so full electrics and plug-in hybrids. At this point, we'll get to full electrics only down at the bottom. So this is BYD. BYD sold almost 500,000 plug-in vehicles again in November, just in 1 month. Is wild. Tesla by far second, but far ahead of third, but also far behind first, 172,000. And then you've got the interesting story here is Geely, or Geely. I think it's Geely. Geely is third, but it's actually rising pretty fast, pretty strongly, and there's a good chance that Geely, could reach Tesla levels before too long. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. I'm not 2025, but maybe 2026, 2027. We'll see. And then you've got Wuling, which actually is still doing very well in fourth there, well ahead of anyone else. So then you've got a big tail off. The other interesting story here, though, is down at the bottom. Xiaomi, not even barely launched. Launched in March or so. Already 20th in the world, right behind Hyundai. Will pass up several brands in the coming months. In the coming months, it's going to rise up that chart quickly, I believe. Remember, this is the number 2 smartphone producer in the world, and as Jose, or maybe it was a reader, right? I think maybe it was a reader who wrote that, or maybe it was Jose. I forget now. I read so many comments and articles. This is what people expected and hoped from Apple, that they would come out with an electric car, immediately be a big presence in the EV market, be an influence in the market. Hasn't done so. Tried to a few times, it seems, 2 or 3 times, it seems, and then closed down the project. Xiaomi, number 2 smartphone maker in the world, just comes out here and says, boom, we'll do it. And they're doing it extremely efficiently, extremely well. They're rising up the market. So for the first 11 months combined, similar story. BYD is far ahead, 3.6 million. Tesla, 1.6 million. And then Wuling, BMW, Geely, Li Auto further down. So that's automakers. For plug-in vehicles, again, this is the same. This is auto groups, or that was brands. This is groups. So this is Geely, Volvo, Volkswagen Group, SAIC. Tesla's still second. BYD is still far ahead in first, but Geely, Volvo's not that far behind Tesla. Now, if you look only pure electrics for the first 11 months of the year, Tesla is still in the lead, barely above BYD Group. BYD Group, it passed Tesla in December, so we'll see how 2025 goes, but it could be that BYD takes the crown in 2025. If you look by models, this is what it's been for a while. You have Tesla Model Y, Tesla Model 3 at or near the top, and a ton of BYD models. And you got the Wuling Mini EV down there in 6th, Wuling Bingo 12th. So its small EVs are, still fighting for a place there near the top. but it's really the story is about BYD and Tesla. And Xiaomi is already 15 there. Xiaomi SU7 is in 15th place globally in November. Pretty wild. And then you've got, as you can see at the bottom, a few Geely models trying to get rolling. And one thing you will notice, as Jose points out, 0 legacy automaker models. The most, yeah, no legacy automaker models there from the West. If you look throughout the first 11 months of the year, similar story. So we don't really need to talk about it. Same deal. But down at the bottom, you do still have a couple of legacy models: Volkswagen ID4 in 16th, Volkswagen ID3 in 19th. So good for that. Now, if you look at the sales trends across the year, well, actually, this is NIO and XPENG sales are up a ton. And I looked at them individually for the year; they're up large percentages. But I also wanted to look long-term view at them again, as I've done in recent years, and you just see this consistent, strong, steady growth from NIO and also from XPENG, and it's almost like it's so similar that it'd be hard to know which chart is which unless you are extremely informed. It's just wild how similar their yearly sales trends track, and just how well they've been doing year after year. Very much following the kind of Tesla model, but they have more models, and in fact they actually have more brands now. They both launched new brands. So yeah. Now if you look at their quarterly deliveries, you get a little more up and down. You get some down quarters and then big up quarters. So they do have some cycles of dropping sales and then rising sales again based on new models, new brands now. And then monthly, even, a little bit more variation, of course, but still the same trend you see there. So just tremendous growth from NIO and XPENG. And you can find details on percentages in there, but you can, looking at the chart is all you need to do. Now getting to BYD. BYD's, we'll start with the commercial vehicles. So electric bus sales totally spiked in December. Huge growth in electric bus sales, and then across 2024, huge growth in non-bus electric commercial vehicle sales from BYD. So aside from cars, it's doing the job in the heavy duty vehicle business. But if you're looking at passenger vehicles, this is their growth. Their 2 years monthly sales trends for new energy vehicles, or plug-in vehicles as we call them in the US more. Very strong growth at the end of the year, but really steady growth more or less, time and time again, except for last January, February was a big down period during the Chinese New Year. It was a big dip time. Plug-in hybrid sales have been particularly strong in the past year. That's driven a lot of BYD's growth. But BEV sales as well. If you look at the last 4-5 months of the year, very strong upward trend in BEV sales at BYD. Even if you compare year over year, those bars are significantly larger. So here's a big picture view looking at all plug-in vehicles as a whole. BEV sales, plug-in hybrid sales. Yep, it's a very, very strong positive trend from BYD. Now, we'll get into Tesla maybe later in the week more in depth, but we had a great article from Ramirezai, Joseph Kahudzai. Tesla had its first down year, negative sales trend since the Model S was released. So huge negative news there. Of course, we've known for years Tesla was supposed to be having, on average, 50% growth a year through 2030. That was the projection from Elon Musk. Negative growth, drop in sales is not 50%. Even, if you say, oh, it's supposed to be on average, some good years, some bad years, some less good years, which it didn't take into account like dropping sales in 1 year. Like that was not part of the plan. And even this year, the projection, last I heard from Elon Musk, was 20 to 30% growth, averaging negative sales trend with 20 to 30% growth isn't close to 50% growth either. So it's definitely behind schedule, and you could say that all comes down to the robotaxi project being behind schedule, because that's what a lot of Elon Musk's statements and forecasts have been based on. But yeah, if you look at Q4 sales, BEV only, BYD sold about 100,000 more BEVs than Tesla in the fourth quarter. That's, so for the people who have been saying, oh, BYD's ahead only because they sell a lot of plug-in hybrids, I mean, the story is very clear at this point. BYD has risen above Tesla in BEV sales as well as their plug-in hybrid sales, on top of that, significantly in the fourth quarter. Here's the full year look, and you can see the blue chart is 2023 for Tesla, red chart is 2024, slight drop in sales, just barely. And then BYD, you see, was well below that at 1.57 million sales in 2023 and rose up to 1.76 million in 2024. Still slightly behind Tesla in full year BEV sales, but obviously the trend has been more positive for BYD. Here's looking with plug-in hybrids included, where obviously BYD just absolutely crushes Tesla in this comparison. So overall, just tremendous growth in China with BEV producers, BYD, XPENG, NIO, and Xiaomi. So, it's great news for the EV sales revolution. Great news, BYD, NIO, and XPENG as well, even going into more and more markets. They just keep announcing new markets they're entering, and tremendous growth and positive news in that regard as well. The driving force is China. There was an interesting chart that Jose included here. These would be the top selling BEV models outside of China. So it's also removing Tesla's Chinese sales. But if you look outside of China, just remove that from the whole equation globally for November. I should say for 2024 through November. You have the Model Y and Model 3 at the top two. ID fourth, comes in third. Hyundai Ioniq 5 not too far behind it in fourth. And the Audi Q4 e-tron in fifth. So, if you want to look, okay, China is its own beast. It's doing its thing. I didn't share that. Sorry. let me share that chart real quick. And it's if you want to just, there's pros and cons of that. The fact is China is electrifying, and China is driving the EV revolution forward, and not just in China anymore. But if you want to say, okay, that's a very unique situation with a top-down approach that's been a very effective long-term approach, and you want to just say, okay, what's happening outside of China? This is the top 5 story you get as far as models. Maybe we get Jose to do that for brands and automakers as well. That would be fun to see. So that's that's it. So that's the update for today. We'll have more updates later in the week, and particularly diving into Tesla more with David Havasi. I'll make sure to get him into a video so we can discuss what's happening at Tesla. All right. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.